How to talk about habits in English. English Conversation Practice Level 3. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Do you have a daily routine? Are you an early bird or a night owl? We all have habits, both good and bad. But do you know how to talk about them fluently in English? Today, we are going to dive deep into all the phrases and vocabulary you need to describe your habits like a native speaker. This is going to be a super useful English conversation practice, so make sure you're ready to listen and maybe even speak along. Let's start with the basics. When we talk about things we do regularly, we often use the present simple tense. For example, I drink coffee every morning, or she goes to the gym 3 times a week. Simple, right? You can also add adverbs of frequency to be more specific. Words like always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, and never are your best friends here. For instance, I usually read a book before bed, or he rarely eats fast food. Now, for something a bit more advanced. If you want to talk about a past habit that you no longer do, we use the phrase used to. For example, I used to bite my nails when I was a kid, or they used to live in London. This clearly shows it was a habit in the past, but not anymore. What if you want to describe being accustomed to something? That's when we use be, used to plus a noun or a verb with ing. So you could say, I'm used to waking up early, which means it's normal for me now. Let's talk about good and bad habits. To talk about starting a good habit, you can say I'm trying to get into the habit of meditating every day. Or maybe you want to stop a bad one. You can say, I need to kick the habit of procrastinating, or I'm trying to break my habit of staying up too late. These are great, natural-sounding phrases. Another useful expression is to be a creature of habit, which describes someone who likes having a fixed routine and doesn't like change. Are you a creature of habit? Let me know in the comments. So, let's recap quickly. We use the present simple for current habits, use to for past habits, and phrases like get into a habit or break a habit to talk about changing our routines. Try making a few sentences about your own habits using these phrases. Practice makes perfect. Thank you so much for watching today's lesson. I hope you found it helpful. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep improving your English with me, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future lessons. See you in the next one. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about something we all have: habits. Good habits, bad habits, and those little quirks that make us who we are. But how do we talk about them naturally in English? That's exactly what we're going to dive into. By the end of this video, you'll have a bunch of useful phrases and vocabulary to describe your daily routines and tendencies like a native speaker. First up, let's talk about frequency. How often do you do something? Instead of just saying always or sometimes, you can use phrases like I tend to ... or I have a tendency to ... For example, I tend to drink coffee first thing in the morning. Or for a bad habit, I have a tendency to bite my nails when I'm nervous. Another great one is, as a rule, I. This means it's something you almost always do. For instance, as a rule, I go for a run after work. Now, what about habits you're trying to build or break? If you're starting a new, positive habit, you can say, I'm trying to get into the habit of reading before bed. Or, I'm making a conscious effort to drink more water throughout the day. On the flip side, if you're trying to stop a bad habit, you can say, I'm trying to kick the habit of scrolling on my phone late at night. Another common phrase is to break a habit. For example, it's really hard to break the habit of eating sugary snacks. Let's discuss those automatic, unconscious habits. You know, the things you do without even thinking. For these, we often use the phrase, I can't help it. Like, I can't help checking my emails as soon as I wake up. Or you might say, it's second nature to me. For example, after driving for 20 years, checking my mirrors is second nature to me. This implies the habit is deeply ingrained and feels completely natural. So, let's put it all together in a mini conversation. Imagine a friend asks you, do you have any New Year's resolutions? You could say, yeah, I'm trying to get into the habit of meditating for 10 minutes every day. As a rule, I'm pretty good at sticking to a routine, but I have a tendency to get distracted. I'm also trying to kick the habit of staying up too late. It's tough, but I'm making a conscious effort. See how using these different phrases makes your English sound so much more fluent and expressive. Practice using them to talk about your own habits. What's a habit you're proud of? What's one you're trying to kick? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading your responses. Thanks so much for watching today. If you found this video helpful, please give it a big thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more English conversation practice. See you in the next one. Do you ever find yourself scrolling on your phone right before bed, even though you know you shouldn't? Or maybe you're one of those amazing people who wakes up at 5 a.m. for a morning run. These are all habits, and today we're going to learn how to talk about them in English, just like native speakers do. We'll cover everything from your daily routines to those little quirks that make you, you. So stick around, and let's get started on building better conversation habits. First, let's talk about present habits, things you do regularly. A super common and easy way to say this is by using tend to. For example, I tend to drink coffee first thing in the morning. Or, if you often stay up late, you could say, I tend to be a night owl. You can also use adverbs of frequency like always, usually, or often. For instance, I usually go for a walk after dinner. It's simple, but it perfectly describes your routine. What's something you usually do every day? Now, what about habits from the past? Things you don't do anymore. For this, we use used to. It's perfect for talking about childhood memories or old routines. You could say, I used to bite my nails when I was a kid. Or, I used to watch cartoons every Saturday morning. Notice how it implies you've stopped doing it. Another great phrase is would for repeated past actions. For example, when I was in college, I would study in the library for hours. This really helps to paint a picture of your past self. Finally, let's look at annoying habits, either yours or someone else's. For this, we often use the present continuous with always or constantly. It adds a bit of emotion, usually frustration. For example, my brother is always leaving his wet towel on the floor. Or, for a self-critique, I'm always losing my keys. It drives me crazy. This structure is great for expressing how a habit makes you feel. So, there you have it. Now you can talk about your habits, past and present, good and bad. I hope this lesson was helpful for your English learning journey. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more English conversation practice. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into a topic we all deal with every single day: habits. Whether they're good, bad, or just a little bit weird, habits are a huge part of our lives. So, let's learn how to talk about them like a native English speaker. First up, let's talk about forming new habits. You could say, I'm trying to get into the habit of waking up earlier. Or, I've started to make a habit of reading for 30 minutes before bed. Notice how we use phrases like get into the habit or make a habit of. It's a great way to show you're actively trying to build a new routine. Now, what about those pesky bad habits we want to get rid of? You might hear someone say, I really need to kick my habit of scrolling on my phone late at night. Or, I'm trying to break the habit of biting my nails. Kicking a habit sounds strong and determined, while breaking a habit is also very common. For example, my friend recently said, I managed to quit smoking cold turkey, which means stopping a bad habit suddenly and completely. But what about the things we do without even thinking? These are our ingrained habits. You could say, I have a habit of double-checking if I locked the door. Or, it's second nature to me to make coffee as soon as I get up. Second nature is a fantastic expression that means something is so natural you do it automatically. For instance, my sister automatically tidies up. It's just second nature to her. We can also describe the frequency of our habits. Phrases like, I always, I usually, or I tend to are perfect for this. For example, I tend to go for a run after work. Or, I'm a creature of habit, so I always eat the same thing for breakfast. Being a creature of habit means you love your routines and do unlike change very much. So, there you have it. A bunch of useful phrases to talk about your daily routines and habits. What's a habit you're trying to build or break? Let us know in the comments below. We love reading your stories. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more English conversation practice. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Have you ever tried to pick up a new habit? Like going to the gym but then dropped it after just a few days? Don't worry, you're not alone. It happens to all of us. But how do we talk about these experiences in English? Today, we're going to dive into all the useful vocabulary and phrases you need to discuss habits, both good and bad. Let's start with forming good habits. You might say, I'm trying to get into the habit of waking up early. Or maybe, I want to make it a habit to read for 30 minutes every day. When a habit becomes automatic, we say it's second nature. For example, brushing my teeth twice a day is second nature to me. Another great phrase is to stick with it. It means you continue doing something, even if it's difficult. So you could say, learning a language is tough, but I'm determined to stick with it. Now, what about those habits we want to get rid of? We often call these bad habits. A common way to talk about stopping them is using the phrase to break a habit. For instance, I'm trying to break the habit of scrolling through my phone before bed. If you struggle with something, you might say, I have a bad habit of procrastinating on my assignments. Another useful expression is to kick a habit. It's a more informal way of saying you're stopping something. Like it's hard to kick the habit of drinking too much coffee. Let's put this into a conversation. Imagine two friends talking. One might say, I've decided to pick up jogging. The other could reply, That's great. I've been trying to get into the habit of meditating, but it's hard to stick with it. The first friend could then offer some advice. I know what you mean. I had to break my habit of hitting the snooze button. What worked for me was setting a consistent routine. You see how you can use these phrases to share your experiences and support each other. So, next time you're talking about your daily routines or New Year's resolutions, you'll have all the right words. Try using them. What's a good habit you're trying to form? Or a bad one you'd like to break? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If you found this video helpful for your English learning journey, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with a friend who's also learning. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more conversation practice. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.